Welcome back, YouTube. Hog here. Just doing another co-op build guide with my Barbarian. I know that has been requested, so we're going to go ahead and start going through the skills. Again, this is not the highly optimal DPS build. This is just what works for me. Works for me in co-op and works for me when I'm just out bumming around trying to farm some stuff myself. So we're going to start with my primary attack. I use Bash with the Clobber Rune because of the 35% chance to stun a target for 1.5 seconds. Great for single target, great for bigger enemies, some of those champions, some of those elites. After that, I use Whirlwind with the Volcanic Eruption. Does 189% weapon damage as fire. It just seems to me that I get a lot more damage output, than I do with, whatever that other one is, where you move at the movement speed, your 100% movement speed. I'm not sure what the rune is called for that. After that, I have Rend with the Bloodlust rune on it. You gain 9% of the damage done by Rend as life. Huge heals coming in when you're just surrounded by a pack of shit. When you're in the middle of it, you start taking damage. Hit that Rend. Not only does it do a ton of damage, but it also heals you. 700% weapon damage over 5 seconds. That's a ton of damage, guys. After that, I go over to Ground Stomp with Wrenching Smash rune. It increases the area by up to 24 yards, and it also pulls the enemies in closer to you. So again, that's a great co-op skill, especially when you're running with a ranged DPS that's doing a ton of AoE damage. You can kind of keep things locked in. After that, I have Battle Rage with the Into the Fray rune, and that is just to generate some fury. Not only is it a huge damage buff, but anytime you do a critical, you have a chance to gain 15 additional fury. And if you're whirlwinding and you got a huge pack of stuff, you're going to get crits and you're going to generate a ton of fury, and you're just going to be able to just keep going and going and going. And then we have the defensive buff, Warcry. I do that with the Impunity rune because it gives you a 20% increase to all your resists. And that's just a huge damage mitigation buff. I mean, you want your resist alls probably around 500 is what I'd say is safe to start doing, like Master 3, Master 4, at least from what I found. And now we're going to move over to passives. My first passive is Weapons Master, and that's just because of the damage buffs that you get from using the different kinds of weapons. After that, I'm going to go over to my second one, which is Ruthless, and that's kind of a no-brainer. 5% critical hit damage increase. 5% critical hit chance increase, and also increase your critical hit damage by 50%. Just huge. And then my third one, I use Brawler, and that's because if you have 3 enemies within 8 yards of you, your damage is increased by 30%. You can actually switch this out to a more defensive rune if you're having some survivability issues, like Tough as Nails or even Nerves of Steel. But my gear is good enough that I can use the Brawler. So I'm really not going to go over too much of the gear. This build works good for me, solo and co-op. My resist alls, if you're looking for survivability, you need to boost that resist all a little bit, and that's going to go a long way, guys. Especially with the Warcry buff. I mean, you will be amazed at how much that will save your life. So, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and head out. If you like this, give it a like. If you don't like it, leave me a dislike and let me know what you guys think. And never hurts to throw us a subscribe. That way we know we have a recurring audience and we know you guys like what we're doing. So, alright YouTube, till another day, I'm out.